By listening to the following, you are acknowledging that the comments, opinions, and analyses expressed by Metatope LLC, its representatives, or any other contributor are for informational purposes only and should not be considered individual investment or legal advice or recommendations to make an investment or adopt any investment strategy. You should be aware of the real risk of loss when buying and selling any assets, including but not limited to NFTs, tokens, or securities. Always conduct your own research and strongly consider seeking the advice of a financial or legal expert. And now, here's Crypto Chris G with TopeTalk.
Yo. What's going on, guys? Thank you, Crypto Medic and DJ and AI Extraordinaire. It's good to see everybody here. Obviously, market sucks. Nobody's hanging out, but we are. We're still working. We're grinding, and we're taking a little time to, leave some recordings all over the internet, basically. So, yeah, tons of fun. How's everyone doing today? Crypto Medic, let's start with you, man. What's going on?
What's up? What's up, my brother from another mother? I am excited, man. This is my last Spaces TopeTalk on an iPhone 14. I'm super excited about tomorrow. It's Apple Week, and it's something to get excited about because there ain't much else to get excited about these days. But I'm glad to be here, my brother.
All right. Well, the minute you get that iPhone, you send me a text because you said you're the first one to get it. So we'll see. I have a Telegram bot that runs notifications for my email specifically for FedEx deliveries or UPS deliveries. I'm just kidding, I don't. But no, really excited for you to see the phone. I'm excited for the new capabilities of that camera. Can't wait to test them, and I think it's going to be an awesome content creation tool. Speaking of which, Metatope is we're developing our mobile app, so really, I think we're going to see some great benefits from having the new phone and what our app is capable of and the different processing powers. So, what's going on, Walker? Thanks for being here. How's it going, man?
Doing good, bro. We had a very successful week. I'm really excited about the overall development, and there is quite a lot going on in the markets. So it's a very exciting week.
Yes, sir. Well, quite a lot going on news-wise. Yeah, for sure. Market's down. I was expecting this, which is why I tried to figure out how to put a leverage short into Bitcoin yesterday, but Rollbit wasn't working with me, so I just said, I'll let everyone else make money, and I'll just look from the sidelines. But what's going on, Enzo? How's everything going?
Yo, how's it going, man? I have had a pretty good week so far. The weather's shaping up. I think today's the first day of spring, if I'm not mistaken, here in Uruguay. So we started off with a lot of humidity. I went outside, and even though it didn't rain, I was stepping on water that came out of nowhere. I don't know how that worked out, but other than that, had a really good trading week with my at least with my demo account for Forex. But I've seen that the market's down on crypto, and I've stayed away from trading crypto just because trading crypto with a centralized exchange is kind of not something I really want to do. So I went more towards the Forex side and doing good. Still back testing a few strategies on my demo account, and it's worked out great so far. So really happy about the way that my trading has been going so far this week.
Sick. All right, let's get Walker back up here. He's probably having some spotty Wi-Fi. Oh wait, that's a person. So what's before we jump into news?
Hey,
here,
before we go, Chris.
You know what? I figured.
I got a couple of questions.
Enzo, why don't you? Oh, 1 second, Walker's back. So let's get some market analysis from Walker, and then I'll jump into the what's latest in the crypto world.
Yeah, bro, for sure. Before we go in, so Chris, just so you know, there's great protocols out there. I mean, one that I like to use. You have to check your local jurisdictions and what you can use in your area. But Games.trade is a really great protocol. They support Arbitrum and Polygon, and they have a host of crypto assets. I think there's like at least like 50 crypto assets, And then they actually have a few synthetic assets. I think you can trade futures on gold and silver, and then some other things as well. So it's a great product, and it's very very reliable if you want to short Bitcoin in the future. So check it out. And then also, Enzo, I wanted to make you aware of that because there's some great decentralized options for trading crypto assets outside of forex markets. And the difference. Yeah. So those are great options. And then Enzo, I had a question for you on your forex trades. Even in your demo account, how much leverage are you using, and how tight are your stop losses?
Okay, so the leverage that I'm using right now currently is 50, but that's like the minimum that I've seen any broker use. Because the most it goes is 100, but the broker that I'm using, even for the demo account, uses 50. So right now I'm limited to 50. And my stop loss is around 2 or 3 pips, depending on where the order block lies from where my entry point is. Because that's what my strategy is based upon. It's so I go to like the 1 hour or the 30 minute, and that's like the highest time frame I go to. And then I pick out the order blocks from there, and then I move down to the 1 minute time frame to pick out my entries, and that's why I like manage to use tight entries. But there's also like I also have to worry about the slippage that the broker uses, so I have to keep in mind that my pit like the pips from my actual stop loss, I also have to add the slippage from the broker, which is usually like point 1 pip, so it doesn't really affect me that much. But yeah, I keep in consideration the slippage and everything else that goes into that even when doing everything on my demo account.
That's awesome, man. Risk management is the number one key. Anytime you're going into anything that looks like an opportunity, you always have to assess for the downside. And if you properly do that, you never get in situations where you're over leveraged or you're super stressed or just in a bad spot altogether. So I always like to ask those questions. Sounds like you're making some real progress, man. I'm proud of you. And with that, we can dive into the market analysis. So really, really a big week. The Federal Reserve had a 2-day meeting, and kind of give you, my synopsis and why we've seen the type of market correction that we have, right? Because it's really interesting. The Federal Reserve came out, they didn't raise interest rates as expected, but we still saw a significant pullback. And, I believe that was due to the tone and kind of the forecast from the Federal Reserve. And really what they said is we're not going to raise rates, but we will have another interest rate hike, which a lot of people didn't necessarily expect. And we have 2 more meetings this year. So in the year they indicated we would see another rate hike, but that wasn't the big deal, right? Most investors, right, because they're also signaling that is from a rates perspective, we're very close to the top of this cycle. However, I think a lot of the theories and kind of the speculation around how this was going to unwind was, going into Q1, Q2 of next year, really likely to see rates start coming back down. And the Federal Reserve kind of, put a fork in that. And they said, based on our monetary policy and the target rate of 2% annual inflation, it's very likely that we're going to see rates sustain, towards the top of this rate hiking cycle for an extended period of time. And markets, the kind of the modern theory is that they price out about 18 months. So all these companies, all these funds, they're looking 18 months into the future, looking at the projections of like how much interest rates are going to come down. To put that into perspective, based on the forecast for next year, over the next 4 to 6 months, the market's going to have to price in about a point, a point 0.7 delta of how much the interest rates, or I'm sorry, the inflation is going to come down. But now that they're seeing that these interest rates, these high interest rates, may be a lot more sticky, investors are starting to say, "Hey, let's pump the brakes. This might get ugly before we see the fireworks." So people starting to hedge out a little bit, to put that into perspective. I mean, we saw the S&P 500 fall this week alone almost 5%. It's actually on the 4-hour time frame dropped below the 20-day and the 200-day moving average. And, a lot of times that signals, more downward pressure. Also, something that I was watching closely this week was the VIX. And the VIX, as ticker VIX, that is actually a volatility index of the S&P 500. And like the modern theory of the VIX is when it's low, watch out below. And I don't remember the other side of the riddle, but essentially when it's high, it's a good time to buy. There we go. And so with that being said, that the VIX is at a very low level, that shows like complacency in markets, not a lot of volatility. When the VIX goes higher, it typically indicates a lot of fear, and it can be good buying opportunities. We saw the VIX shoot up significantly this week from 12 all the way to 17.5 currently. So, it could be indicating that maybe we're getting in to a good time to pick up some of these potentially undervalued positions. In specific, we saw the S&P fall about 5%. We saw Amazon this week fall all the way down almost 12%. And that's significant. That really happened in the last 3 days. And Amazon is coming up to test the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour, which is currently at about 127. We're at 129.33. Could potentially be a good entry on Amazon coming into Q4, typically the strongest earning month for companies. And alongside that, Amazon being the retailer they are, they have the Prime Day coming up on October 10th. And then Christmas is right around the corner. They're expecting consumers to be really strong this year. They've actually already announced they're ramping up by 250,000 employees. So yeah, it's a very wishy-washy market. There can be some good opportunities. The Federal Reserve kind of checked everybody this week and said, "Hey guys, get ready." Now, is that really going to be the case for an extended period of time? And when I say that, I mean, through 2024, maybe. There's also the understanding that with markets pricing out 18 months, the Federal Reserve is potentially playing a game and, trying to, dictate, you kind of manipulate what that forecast is. So will they be able to sustain rates at these levels? We're going to have to wait and see. But maybe things get, we see some good pullbacks over the next couple months. Could be a great opportunity to buy.
Hell yeah, man. It's great news. Great opportunities to buy is a great thing. This is a time to be stacking your ETH and getting prepared. It's we're getting so close, guys. We're like the last ones left. It's kind of funny, but that's survival of the fittest, and I think everyone here is gonna find to go through that entire cycle is insane, and I think it's gonna be quite the euphoric feeling when we're seeing the fruits of all of our labor and technology and even just investments. So I'm very excited to see how that works out for all of us. Going into the news, some interesting stuff today. I think we should talk about the most recent one first, which came from Beeple. He posted earlier that he was on a Rolling Stones article where basically Rolling Stones put out there that your NFTs are actually finally totally worthless. A new report from industry research find that 95% of the once hyped crypto assets have hit rock bottom valuation. And I guess the person that did the article is like claiming it was something about Beeple, or he basically was like, oh, that's a pretty harsh take or pretty hot take, right? So basically they're saying like that the NFT art is absolutely in a bubble. This is about time, and people are going to look for technologies to include. I mean, it's got to get to a point where, um, you know, everyone's out, and then it starts going back up. So teams are getting closer and closer, and basically, yeah, the mainstream media has, even Bloomberg put something out there. So it's kind of funny. You know, they have no idea actually. You know, as prices go down, prices go up. It's part of the cycle, and they still don't realize it. Obviously, they're not like collectors, so they just report on stuff that they think is news. Another big thing in the news here is Nouns DAO. $27 million revolt reveals toxic mix of money-hungry traders and blockchain idealists. Pretty insane. They spent $90,000 on naming rights for a rare Ecuadorian frog species. That was pretty intense. On top of that, the just basically Bitcoin news. Obviously, we know that Bitcoin's is moving down a little bit. As for the Sam Bankman-Fried news, he's going to have to stay in jail, which is kind of crazy, for the first part of his trial. So quite interesting there that he has to do that. And I think that they were trying to get him out of jail before the trial. So yeah, that's pretty crazy, as well as they blocked one of his proposed witnesses from testifying. So it sounds like the court's not getting fooled by the SBF stuff that he's trying to do. Some other stuff in the news here. Tether acquired stake in Bitcoin miner Northern Data, basically hinting at an AI collaboration. I didn't really do too much like research into that, but obviously we know that they purchased like a ton of NVIDIA GPUs in the past, and this could be interesting for Tether. It sounds like they have an idea, and it sounds like it's not going to impact customer funds, which their capitalization market cap is over 83 billion right now. So always keep an eye on the stables. But yeah, guys, let's talk some avatars. That seems to, if anybody else has anything else left about news, Walker, you see anything else that I missed on the news side of things?
Oh, wait, I'm going to jump in here now. So
Sure.
First, you got to tell your AI girlfriend to quit blowing you up while you're on TopeTalk. Next, I'm going to bring you guys some real world news you can use. There are rolling aliens into the Mexican Congress, apparently.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
So that's your news you can use for the week. And so keep your eyes out of crypto sometimes. There's some other crazy shit going on in the world.
Hold on. What?
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know who the Jaime or Jamie Musan is. He's been like the Mexican UFO guy for a very long time, like investigator that's on all their television programs and stuff like that. Somehow he managed to convince somebody to let him roll these quote unquote alien bodies into Congress to show everybody and show the press that they're real. And yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. But this guy's been caught in like a bunch of fraud stuff before. And I don't mean like people just believed that he was frauding people. Like he got caught and admitted to frauding people several times on alien stuff. So I don't know what kind of craziness is going on over there, but yeah, some fun stuff in the news for sure.
So going back to the first topic you brought up, Chris, I don't remember what the news article was, but really talking about the value of NFTs. And I think that, the reality is that there's a lot of technologies that have existed. There's a lot of products. There's a lot of companies that, had hype cycles and weren't able to sustain. And, I think that there's a lot of speculation out there around if this technology has the real use case to continue to exist in a meaningful way. And I believe that. I think most people here do. But the problem is that I think the mainstream media and most consumers, they don't understand what the technology is, right? It's been misrepresented in so many ways. And I hate to say it, but I would almost say the majority of people, an NFT, just represents some, potentially, meaningless or insignificant JPEG. But that's not what the technology is, right? That's the limited use case that has been used as a vessel to interact with NFTs. And as the technology evolves and the use case and the adoption for really ways that we can represent digital assets and have true ownership, verifiable ownership of those assets for the first time, right? As we continue to step into the metaverse, which we believe is a culmination of gaming, streaming, social media, Zoom, right? All of these different interactions we have. That's what the metaverse is, and what it will continue to grow into. And I think like the Vision Pro is going to be another step into that. But people find more value in these online interactions, and as our world becomes more and more entwined and overlaid with AR and VR experiences, those NFTs are only going to increase in value.
Yeah, I agree for sure, man. 100% agree on that. But yeah, let's talk some avatars, man. It's been quite an experience to see more people getting into these gaming spaces on Twitter. Victory Point's been running a few spaces once weekly. I think we're going to be on the next one Tuesday. And there's actually some really cool games that seem like they've been building for a minute and not really being out there hyping up too much. But some of them are, building communities out, have a product that they're alpha or beta testing with, like in-game content and stuff to get, load and lag stuff figured out. Obviously, they want to stress test and get more people in. But it's kind of cool to see some of these gaming companies hiring these different type of whatever position they fit in that came from these different studios like Blizzard, Activision, or Riot Games and stuff. And those people jump on board because they probably saw the value of Web3, but that other company didn't want to do it, or hasn't caught up to that, or is afraid because a lot of gamers and a lot of people that are in the streaming world, they don't understand it yet. So over time, as the main role, there's more main adoption, we'll see people just catching on board. I mean, I sat last night. I was like, you know what? I kind of wanted to do a little bit of research on like some YouTube videos of AI and stuff. And one of the first videos I watched was all about how the guy was like, why doesn't anyone just like use Chat GPT or any of those like, AI tools? And it's basically because the average human is pretty lazy, right? So like even if they can, even if it's that easy, it's not like a difficult thing. Like the average person is truly lazy and doesn't want to. They'd rather somebody else do it for them. So I was kind of thinking about, wow, that's actually that's kind of the case when it comes to learning new technologies such as like the true crypto or digital collectibles and stuff like that. And instead you just like think it's all, oh, it's bad. And that's been something that happens in like I think multiple cases. Like even when credit cards became a thing, there was a commercial about Burger King that I saw. It was kind of funny where people were just like crying and moaning about how like it's going to slow down the process and people are going to be like having to call New York for $2.30 credit card process. And it actually reminds me of the days, like I forgot about the days when the signs, like there would be a little sign underneath people's like billboards or like their street signs saying credit cards accepted. Like even some gas stations I think still have those. I mean, like maybe in like the rural areas, but that was kind of funny, like thinking about how much like hate and stuff there was on credit card processing back in the day. And it just happens over time. Even with the internet, people thought the internet wasn't going to be used, and now it's mainstream. So it's like crypto has a little bit more of a head start on AI, but AI seems to also be something that can complement crypto as well as it's in its own case, making things a lot easier. And when back in when you have somebody that needed to handle cash. Now with credit cards, you also eliminated jobs as well as created new jobs. So I think we're going to see a shift of how people use their lives, and hopefully AI in the back end is going to be very handy tool for people that just seamlessly use it. And I think that's what makes we're using AI and Metatope software, so it's really cool to be a part of that machine learning, and seeing the updates and everything as we continue to build out our tech and use it to improve and test. So what's going on, Enzo?
So you just brought up a really great point that like reminds me. I used to, when I first moved back to Uruguay about 3 years ago. I used to work with my aunt. She owned like a little mom and pop shop. Like Uruguay's full of mom and pop shops. We don't really have too many big grocery stores. So whenever you just got to get something small, you like run across the street and like there's mom and pop shops everywhere. And some of them still to this day don't accept credit cards or debit cards. And some of them do, and they have the sign that says credit card or debit card accepted, which is funny because if you go to the center of town, you'll find more that say that they accept debit or credit cards and more that don't. And then you also have Bitcoin ATMs somewhere in the centers of town here. So it's funny because you see all three of them. You see people that just use cash, you see people that accept card, and you see people that accept Bitcoin, including like a barber shop in Montevideo that allows for Bitcoin to be used to as payment. So yeah, that's we are all three in between. It's really funny.
Yeah, what happens? What happens if you get in a car accident or something? You got to, maybe tip the emergency services and some Bitcoin to get to your spot faster than the other car crashes or something. You never know. You never know what's going to happen here. I mean, I'm tipping miners to get transactions faster, so I'd love to see how these. I'm just kidding about that, but yeah, no, it's funny how like you can actually like speed up transactions with miner tips to get front run other people, and it's I'm learning a little bit more about that over time because it's a lot easier nowadays with Telegram bots, but it's yeah, it's kind of cool to see the the kind of like the technology from the last like shitcoin season, to see the technology that's here now versus what was available back then, when it was basically just like having to find charts, having your friends, like having to buy on Uniswap. It's slow. You don't know what the price. You're just kind of like winging it and hoping to get a good entry. And a lot of people made a lot of money that way. People woke up with Shiba bags that they bought 3-4 months in the past 6 months prior, and it was up a lot. So um, I think that this is gonna be an interesting market because as the retail investors come pouring back in over time, there's going to be a lot more tools at the disposal that currently right now are all building out on Telegram. And yeah, I'm curious to see if Telegram is what's in this next year in 2024, if Telegram is still like the main type of communication to the blockchain for traders. But yeah, let's talk some avatars again. So like when it comes to like some of these different games and different use cases for avatars, I'm seeing some of my own, like some of the homies for all of us, like Coco, Pinky, and some others that are using like the face filter apps and stuff right now, and I'm seeing a lot more than what it was. And I think that it's great to see people having basically proven a use case that are undoxed, or slide undoxed or whatever, that are having fun with those type of things. And I think Metatope, when we go full body, be able to create content that way, it's going to be a lot more got a lot more ways, opens up a lot more tool set, and people will be able to express themselves with either dancing or doing some type of cool stuff IRL and more outside, right? So if do we want to share any updates on our end, Walker or John, regarding Metatope today?
Yeah, we can. I mean, so right now it's been a really it's been a really incredible experience with us moving our development team for the computer vision and app side in house. We're seeing some really great leaps forward, and I don't think we're ready to release exactly what those are, what those integrations look like, what communities might be involved inside of the application. But it's been really it's been really incredible. We also simultaneously have started to build an ecosystem of technology that supports that vision, and some products that we're going to be able to release probably even before the mobile application that are going to be really, really great utility to hopefully many communities in this space, and really start to offer tool sets, around these 3D assets and in meaningful ways for people to use those across their content and their branding, and truly be able to lean into these digital identities in a way that hasn't been seen yet. So I know that is very abstract, but that's what we can share now, and I can promise that we have some really exciting developments that are very close.
Perfecto. Well, yeah. So I guess I'll just talk DeFi a little bit. In the last month or so, there's been a drastic decrease of DeFi, and still obviously a lot of coins just pumping out like crazy. Stuff that you never expect, and the Pepe is going nuts. I would say that you're seeing a lot more utility-based coins launching on the market that are all serving certain purposes. Some doing better than others, but it's kind of nuts with the whole Pepe culture really just leading the front when it comes to the DeFi. And I think it's gonna be interesting to see which one of these, if any of these really do hold up. A lot of people thought that Pepe coin that went up really high 2-3 months ago was going to make it to the, all the way to the end, and no, it had some drama, people selling, or teams selling and stuff like that. So there's another way to become another Pepe king. And for some reason, those people are very, they're like a cult. They stick to whatever, wherever the next Pepe is. And so the crown is for the taking, in my opinion, right now, to see what happens. And even though DeFi summer is almost out of, I think that what we have now is Uptober, is what they call it. So according to a few alpha callers that I follow on my Telegram, we're looking pretty good for an October. So I think you also said that the market is shifting around a little bit. So I think as we go into this next month, there could be increased volume, whether it's DeFi or altcoins, or the main coins like Ethereum or Bitcoin. I'd love to see where this market's position going into the end of the year. I also saw on the NFT side that there was a rebrand for Utes. I don't know if you guys saw that. Anybody else see that? What do you guys think?
I like it. I saw some of the community members are already starting to roll out things like some stickers and stuff. And yeah, it looks fun. I don't know if it's such a huge change, but yeah, I like the uniformity of it. I guess that appeals to me.
Yeah, it's kind of nice and soft. It's not like as extreme as a lot of other rebrands go. Typically, people like to go harder, into more and more on the screen. But I think they did a really good job. I think that it's kind of cool and just nice and bubbly, and it fits well with some things in the back end that I think we all know about. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that stuff. And I think the only other thing that I've noticed online, that, or at least in the Twitter world, that has been taking crypto Twitter by storm, is FriendTech. I've been kind of tinkering around, figuring out ways to maybe use FriendTech to get more engagement on Twitter. I've bought a few people. I bought Flu. He at 0.1, and a week later I sold him for 0.3, which was pretty cool. It's kind of weird to say I sold a person, but yeah, you're basically getting shares or keys of somebody else.
What is this now? Explain this.
Yeah, so Friend Tech, it's where like Frank D. Gods is on there. There's a bunch of like influencers or content creators, and you buy a key, which gives you direct access to them in like a DM channel. So like they have like a Friend Tech where they could drop alpha, and it goes to like anybody who holds their key, and you can talk back and forth with them. So it's becoming like the new trend, and people, whenever someone buys or sells basically your keys, you get a percentage of that volume. So you're seeing like some of these higher priced like content creators, if their key is worth like an ETH, they're getting a higher percentage like of ETH sent to them volume wise, versus if you're at like 0.02 like where I'm at, I'm worth like I think like $60.
That's
So
crazy. So they're basically taking the idea of an NFT membership pass. And again, it's not on the blockchain, but like it's that same idea, right? You're buying a key, you're buying membership to that group that this special person is in. It's genius, yeah.
yeah, so now there is not only sniper bots for Friend Tech. When somebody launches a Friend Tech, these guys are buying them at basically $5 to $10 a key, and it goes up. As the more keys go out, the price of the keys go up. But like myself, I own like 12 keys of myself to like pump up the floor, but I don't plan on selling all my friends on my friends or my friends' Friend Techs. But I was buying a couple every day here, trying to find like really really cheap ones, and then I would come to Twitter and at them and post, hey, scooped them up, and usually it makes people happy. However, it also opened up that I bought DC Investor, but I bought a scam DC Investor. So like when I went and sold it for what I bought it for, minus like a couple dollars, but they they're tying to a Twitter. So when you go to the Twitter, you got to like almost like make sure it's the right person, because if they have like an extra R or an I in their name or an underscore or something, they basically botted up their account, retweeting other people. Like I thought I got a DJ yesterday on cheap, Boris, what is his name, Berja or Borecha, really awesome DJ, and I thought I had direct contact. He was acting like he was him, but that was not the real one, because he said, if you buy 3 Friend Tech keys, you can get a free ticket to the New Year's Eve Las Vegas event. So I was like, this could be cool. But then once I did a little more research, I saw that like they had his original name, but it wasn't the original account. Like that was a really good scam. Like that guy's gonna run it up, because if you go, it's like that guy's actual like Twitter name, but the real Boris has like BB in front of it, because probably that person has it. Just like someone else has Crypto Chris G, and that's why I'm Crypto Chris G813, and their name isn't even Chris. So some stuff to note about is Friend Tech. That's something cool if you want to get on it, John. I do have it's invite only, so I do have invite keys if anybody here wants to jump on there and check it out. Buy your own first key, get yourself out there, and it's going to be cool in the future. Hopefully we see some updates, and that Friend Tech still continues to strive. I would, you're seeing, oddly enough, you're seeing a lot of like OnlyFans people on there. So I'm not sure what the heck is going on there. I mean, it does make sense, but yeah, a lot of crypto on OnlyFans. Otherwise, there is some different ones coming out. There's a Friend Tech version on Solana. I know I saw Frank is on that one too. And that one is called Friendly, I think is what it was, which gave me Musically vibes, which was kind of cool. But, I'm just going to stick to the main. I'm not going to go to any derivatives. But it's also could be a potentially community building tool. If we make a, Friend Tech for Metatope or something, I don't know, like it would be maybe in the future as we're live and absolutely, blowing people away with our technology and our capabilities. Friend Tech might be a way for us to, a way to, I don't know, something to think about. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much what's been going on the degen side of the world here. Spaces seem to be chilling. I've noticed like a lot of the main spaces are doing very maybe like a 20 to 30% reduced amount of people in their spaces. But I'm really more or less curious to see what happens with Hong Kong and Bored Ape Yacht Club. That should be, it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of people that potentially were going to go maybe aren't going, from what I've been hearing in the streets. But I'm going to live in vicariously through Coco and those guys that go. Sounds like a fun time to go to China, but we'll throw a Metatope China party. Isn't that right, Jordan? Yeah, in the future. Okay, cool. I saw a thumbs up and yeah, it didn't actually thumbs up, but I put a thumbs up, so I was thumbsing up in form. But yeah, unless anybody has anything else they want to bring to the table here, we can start to wind it down. I'd love if anybody has any guests. I've been reaching out. I reach out over the weekend, and I reach out Monday and Tuesday. It sucks as majority of the people that I reached out to were either busy or they live on the other side of the world. So it seems like a lot of these game developers are all based in like Switzerland, UK, Australia, Germany. So it's a little tough because we do TopeTalk at the same time every day, or not every day, but every week. But I think just got to keep grinding, keep doing our TopeTalks, keep our consistency up, and then over time, I think will be a great place for people that are getting back into this space to come get valuable tech knowledge. And I look forward to having more guests. Like I said, if anyone has any recommendations, please let me know. We're always open to having some people to talk to and dig into what they're involved with. So with that being said, man, Enzo, if you want to go ahead and take us away to a closing statements here. Top G. I actually watched Andrew Tate yesterday on Kick.tv with Aiden Ross talking to a fake Kim Jong-un. That was quite the interesting situation. In fact, it set a record for the most people to leave a single stream ever. So, there was like over 250,000 people thinking that he was going to have the real Kim Jong-un from North Korea. And yeah, they set a record for people that left. And you see this other bozo that he was speaking like, he spoke like English, like it was from UK. So I'm not quite sure what the whole point of that was, but yeah, any publicity is good publicity. So Aiden Ross, Top G, was in the house, like smoking a cigar, hanging out there on that stream. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, thanks everyone for being here. I think all of us are really excited to get Metatope stuff out, but obviously we're working really hard behind the scenes to provide the best product and disrupt this market as best we can. So just know that we are still building. We're continuing to work